everybody. My name is Reid. I am with MLSFantasyBoss.com, and I am excited to start the 2025 MLS fantasy season with all of you all. Now, as has become tradition, I'm going to kick off the season with a video recapping the Keeperoo, the Switcheroo, and the Autoroo. And for those of you who are veterans of the MLS fantasy game, you know what this is. You've used it. It's been effective, and you're comfortable with it. But for those of you who are new, this may be new language. It was in our article where we talked about some of the jargon that was used in MLS Fantasy. And you may have thought, well, what is that, Reid? I still don't know what that is. I'm here to tell you and explain it to you because our community pioneered these strategies, and they can be used very effectively to really maximize the point potential of your team. So I'm going to load up a team, and we're going to talk through round one, the 2025 season, to see how all of these three tactics can be used. Okay, so here's a team I put together, and just before you ask or before I get any comments, no, not my team, just something I've put together to help illustrate these three tactics. We're going to start with the Keeperoo. So the main idea of the Keeperoo is for you to be able to preview the points of a keeper on your bench before deciding if you want that player to be automatically substituted into your team, or if you would rather roll the dice and try to get more points from the player on your field. The way you do this is you set it up so that your bench keeper plays before the team that your field keeper is on locks. So if you see here, I have Roman Celentano on my bench, and I have Stefan Frei in the goal. Scrolling down, this is an easy setup because FC Cincinnati is going to play on Saturday, and then we have Seattle is going to play at the end of Saturday. So both are Saturday teams, which I wanted to highlight. It would be easy to do this with Saturday and Sunday, but we can do them on the same days as well. And that's because Seattle plays at the 10:30 slot, and the FC Cincinnati game is going to be over at least about an hour before that happens. So you'll have plenty of time to preview the points. So the way you get this to work is you have the points for Roman on your bench. You'll see what happens. If FC Cincinnati gets a clean sheet, that's what you're looking for. If he stops a PK, that's what you're looking for. If he has a low score, if he gets a blowout, you don't want those points. You do nothing. If you don't want the points from your bench player, you leave him there and you think, gosh, good thing I've got Stefan Frei. I think he's got a good shot, and you roll with it. If you do like the points, if he does get the clean sheet, if he does get a shutout, if he gets a goal, if something crazy happens, what you have to do is you have to remove Stefan Frei from your bench and replace him with a player who is not going to play. So we'll have a list of those players over at MLSFantasyBoss.com's Discord in our Fantasy Tools section, but you'll just find someone who you know is not going to play. Since you've got the 7:30 game, it's going to need to be a player who's not started yet, so we're going to look at those Sunday teams. So we'll just go with LA Galaxy. We'll assume that Brady Scott probably not going to play at that price point, at that rank in the roster. Add him into your team, click save, and now with the practically guaranteed that you're not going to have that keeper play, you're going to get the points from Roman onto your team automatically using the internal automatic transfer system. And that's how you Keeperoo. Okay, so now you understand the Keeperoo. Let's move on to the Autoroo. It's similar in how it functions, but we're going to work with a field player this time. So let's take a look at the way I have it set up here. I've got Messi on the bench, and I have a San Diego player on the field. Just like with the Keeperoo, Messi's playing that early 2:30 game. You'll get to preview his points. San Diego's not playing until Sunday, so none of their players will lock. You will be able to preview his points before letting him automatically substitute into your team. It's the Autoroo. It's the standard way that MLS Fantasy handles any of these automatic substitutions when a player doesn't play. This is just a way for you to just set that up so you are controlling the substitution and not just at the whims of the game. This could even be more advanced. Say you had two forwards on your bench. you could allow either of them to substitute in, or you could make another move on your bench to guarantee that both of them substitute in. That's starting to get a little bit more advanced and moving into the territory that we call the switcheroo. Okay, let's talk about the switcheroo. This is the most advanced tactic of the three that we've covered so far, and I wanted to make sure we have several examples for this one. So back to the team that we've set up before, you see that I have Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson both on the bench. Both are defenders. Both are playing middle of the round, so it would be hard to decide if I want one of these players before the other team locks. The Cincinnati game won't be over by the time the Nashville game starts, so I can't preview those points. But I don't know if they're going to get clean sheets, so what do? That's where we previously talked about the Autoroo, where, yeah, I could see both of their points. We've got this San Diego player, may or may not play. I can make sure to set up based on the lineups. The person with the highest points is going to substitute in. That's the Autoroo. But what if they both don't do well? Then what do? That's where the switcheroo comes in. So we see that this game is going to be over well before any of these are finished. You've got Portland, you've got LA still playing on Sunday. So if you don't like the points from Zimmerman or Robinson, you still have plenty of time, assuming your budget works out, to go over and say, you know what? I'm going to go with a defender from Portland instead, and we're going to see if that works within your budget. Remember, this is just the example. So that's how you can switcheroo the player out of your field into another player that you're going to roll the dice on. And this has lots of options. If you had two players who aren't going to play, like if both of our San Diego players were not going to play, then you could bring in one. Say Robinson got a clean sheet, Walker got a red card. You could bring in one player from a Sunday game, so you're guaranteed to get Robinson's points to make sure you don't get Zimmerman's. You could have Messi come in because it's going to bring the top player here. So I only want Robinson's points. Let's get Messi. Let's get Robinson. And I'll make sure I have a team set up that allows me to do that. You have to look at your formation as well. That is one thing that can really torpedo your switcheroos, is if you don't have the formation as valid for those players to automatically substitute in. Okay, did you get all that? I hope so. Rewind, watch it through again. Hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Twitter, ask your questions. Everyone's happy to help. Just remember, when it's the Keeperoo, the switcheroo, and the Autoroo, you're always working to try to utilize the rolling lockout system and the scrub players that we like to call on your field to preview the points of your bench, and then you get to control who is coming into the field. That is the strength and the power of these three tactics. It's a bit more advanced, might be a little intimidating for a new player coming in, but I hope that this video helps. And again, if you have more questions, go to the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord, go to any of us from the MLS Fantasy Insider Project on Twitter or X or Blue Sky, wherever you're at, it's fine. Come and let us know, ask your questions, and we'll do what we can to help you out, because it's a great way to have fun and it's a great way to maximize your points. So, as always, good luck.